11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song. Closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And welcome, everybody. Uh-oh. Does this work? Uh-oh. I wonder where it's getting the audio from.
All right, now we should be good to go. Yeah, we'll check that out. All right, now we should be good to go. Okay, sorry about that. We all know who's in charge of keeping the wires connected and the accessories connected, and sometimes he doesn't feel like doing things. He likes sleeping. I've recently bought this bad dog detector. We'll just turn this on here. And then we'll set it to 0, which would be a good dog, and we'll set it next to him. Oh, look, it automatically went to 4. Bad dog detector. So we'll keep that here. And what? He's going to sit down. Maybe it'll go back down. Maybe not. It's going up. Bad dog detector. All right, well, so we're going to get started here. I can't remember what time I'm supposed to start, so I think I started an hour late. Sorry about that for the people that are keeping track with the live. If you're listening as a podcast, you don't even know what I'm talking about. But we do this show live. We do all the shows live if we can. And when we turn them into podcasts, so if you're listening to this as a podcast, welcome. If you're listening to this live, like Foss is out there, welcome. In fact, Foss has made us a, what am I doing? I'm clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. Foss has made us a commercial for your website store. We're going to take a second while I'm not going to be whooping a dog or nothing, but we're going to correct some behavior as we watch this awesome commercial from Foss. Thank you very much.
Sir, why are you in Barry's fishing net? He ran right into it. Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty apes. First off, that is incredibly rude. You ran straight into Barry's fishing net. It's ruined. How is Barry gonna fish now? I'm just trying to find some patches and some stickers. Well, all you have to do is go to gearwebsites.com and you can find 2A-related stickers and patches. And even if you need web consulting, technology consulting, 3D printing, anything like that, gearwebsites.com. Now, please get out of the net. I'm sorry, jerk.
All right. Thanks again for that awesome commercial. We're going to put the puppy in a little box down here. It's being good now. And we'll get on with the show here. So today we're going to be chatting kind of what we did last week. I was thinking about what to do this week. Had a couple of ideas and no suggestions. So I'd wanted to get real, right? Get where we're at in the world and what's available, what's necessary. Kind of similar, I suppose, but we'll see. So first off, there is a poll out there, and as I don't have anything set up over on the today, so I'm just doing it here on the YouTube. Just to see, it's possible, but it's a little more clunky and it's a little formatted. So we have a poll going. Are there enough Second Amendment content creators is the question, and the possible answers are yes, because 2A guns are the same. you're allowed to think that. That's a position to take. But if you don't have that position, you might choose maybe, if you count gun stuff too, and that's more the hesitation to be 100% on board with this. Guns and 2A are the same thing. And then you've got, of course, the option 2A doesn't matter, or excuse me, 2A content doesn't matter. And then the fourth option would be we need more Second Amendment focused content. Sorry, I'm not going to overheat over here. So feel free to participate in that poll. And if you're listening in the future as a podcast or just watching this video in the future, feel free to leave a comment. That's what it's all about. This interactive nature of the internet means that we can actually collaborate here. We can have a conversation even over time and distance and across opinions, right? Across barriers that, for whatever reasons, we may be on different sides or different positions on things. This internet lets us have conversations across those barriers and not just put up posters and talk about our position over and over. And that's a little bit what we're going to chat about today. So getting into it, we're in season 9. Soon it'll be season 10, I suppose. An episode 1727 of this Daily Gun Show. So we've been doing this for a little while. We started back in 2016. I was thinking about Bob the other day. Something about Canada happened. I think I was putting something into the Friday show about Canada, and it made me think about what Bob is dealing with, what's going on up there. Oh, you know what it was? That Canadian police telling people about their cars or whatever. I was wondering how Bob would react to all that. So anyway, we started the show back in 2016 with our friend Bob from Canada. We're 1,700 episodes later. And on Tuesdays, we do a Second Amendment focused content creator workshop. Anybody can teach you how to be a better channel. It's actually pretty easy. It's actually super easy to be a channel if you do something that's trending. You do something that's, new, unexpected, but in the direction that people dig. When we're talking about Second Amendment stuff, though, we add a facet that the platforms don't understand. They can't differentiate Second Amendment from violence for some reason. They can't separate Second Amendment from guns. That's because we don't make it any easier on anybody about that. And just guns in general get lumped in with violence and vice. And it's unfortunate, but until we change that over to window, it's one of those challenges we have. So instead of griping about it and complaining, what we do is work within and around and through and adapt, overcome, and conquer. So instead of whining Tuesdays for a long, long time, we throw our hat in the ring and spend time on these topics. And it's definitely not trending, awesome, like valuable stuff to be focused on for sure. No one watches this. This is hopefully going to inspire a few people once in a while. This is not, if I was trying to create a channel or grow a channel, what I should be spending my time on by any means. Everybody knows that. And especially those people right here. There's a scroll going at the bottom of the screen. Our Patreons make it possible for us to spend time on projects like this. YouTube doesn't pay me to do this. Nobody says, hey, thanks, this is awesome. Except for about 90 something people now on Patreon. So if you want to be part of those people, if we got to 200-300, I could do this full time again. But I'm not at that point right now. We have servers, software. I'm about to spend about $2,000 on some of the infrastructure, and it's frustrating. About $2,000 on the infrastructure for all this. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not even necessary." I don't care. It is. It's useful. We create infrastructure that supports quite a few things out there, and those people, those Patreons, make it possible for us to do that, and for me to spend time on projects like this one. So we'll get into it. Like I say, this one was kind of a derivative of last week's topic, but I don't know. I don't have the exact thought process there, but I was thinking about doing some topics, and I'll probably do these topics in the future, but we'll do some topics on how we got to where we are, a couple of different ways, through technology, through society, and then through guns, to hopefully give people who are interested some core understanding of where we're at. And again, through tech, through society, and then through our gun our guns, I guess. So again, these aren't things that are super I think they might be necessary. I don't think they're urgent, but I think they are fundamental and useful. And since we're dealing with a time of the year when there's nothing critical happening, and or at least more than the normal amount of critical things that are going on, it's a time to address these things. Plus, the things I figure should come up every once in a while cyclically, because there's always this new generation, right? The new group of people, not age-wise, but in a time on the clock. So, so I will talk about some of those topics that I'm alluding to here in future shows. But like I say, not a bunch of urgency here. I just want to get them out there again because it's been a while since we addressed them. I mentioned we're on episode 1700 something. I've addressed things over and over and over. So some things are super important, some things I just like, and then some things are going to happen no matter what, right? Like Christmas or something. Like you're going to address some things when they happen, but some things need to come up once in a while. And trying to keep track of those things, I don't have like a master schedule, like, oh, what am I going to do 5 years from now? So trying to remember back, when's the last time we addressed some of these things is sort of what was going through my head this week. So what that evolved into, though, like I'm apt to do, is use this as an opportunity to go play with the robots, the computer brains, the AIs, and kind of get some, develop and elaborate on the notes for today's show. And as I did that, I started to see something that what we're going to talk about today, something that is frustrating and subtle and divides us, I guess. It can unite us, but it's used to divide us, and just shine some light on, again, something here that's not necessarily critical, but important. And that's, what is it? It is getting started, staying motivated, and understanding your worth. And it's that last part, understanding your worth, that spun it off into today's show from what it was going to be. Again, I was going to do some foundational stuff, some kind of origin story stuff for where we're at tech-wise and fight-wise and firearms-wise. But as I started to ask these computer robot stuff and judging from their answers, I could see that there's other things to address here. And let's get into it. So I'm going to just throw some bullet points out here and riff on them. We don't have much interaction today. Just frustrating. Sometimes we have a lot of people out there. Today, just literally Foss showed up and said, hey, but there's dozens of people listening and nobody's saying anything. Just getting creepier and creepier every week. I don't care if dozens of people listen, but it's definitely more interesting when people can participate. But when I was asking the computer brains, the robot AIs out there, which are super fascinating, I've been watching some interesting stuff because they're about to take a leap, and like a leap forward, and they're super simple. Like, I don't understand why people are so why they're so elusive to people, but they're pretty interesting little mechanisms. And like I say, they are a reflection, like any tool. They're a reflection on the builder of the tool. They're a reflection on the user of the tool, or maybe like any system, they're a reflection of the users of the system. So when I started asking it things, it went, like, for example, worth. It went to the, how much is your content worth? Like, how much did you charge for your content type of thing, which is valid. I mean, that's super common aspect of content creation. Again, if we're just talking about like selling t-shirts or selling, I don't know, circus tents or something, like selling brakes for railroad trains, there's going to be content that you create either to inform or to entertain, to entice people to either buy from your portal or from your catalog, right? So that's all it's all necessary, and it's part of everything. But when we're over here in our Second Amendment area, stuff that's focused on our rights, focused on what brings us together as gun owners, not the products and the process, but the fundamental core that made you want to decide to buy a firearm, the thing that got you past the perception that firearms are a vice, or that firearms are some sort of a projection of a liking, or the appreciation of violence or something. That Second Amendment awareness, that focus is different than guns. When you start to talk about the mechanism of how to create content or how to stay motivated or any things we talk about on this Tuesday show, it's real difficult the line gets blurred between guns and 2A, and it also gets blurred between value and, I have it written in here somewhere, value versus worth. And in this case, that gets expressed by niche versus needs, right? So when we talk about things like content creation or talk about Okay. So, yeah, they're going to say that's my wire that just goes out every day at this time, essentially. Come on, man. All right. So, I'm pretty sure I was trying to talk about niche versus needs and where that is all about. Is it working again? Are we good? Oh, I guess I got a screen share once more. Eventually, the puppy will get up to speed with this stuff. It's a pretty bad co-host, really. All right, so with this, there. All right, so it's immediately going back down to degraded signal. Come on, man. They want $75 to come out and look at that wire because I don't know. They even though you pay for the service, they want $75 just to come out and look at the wire. I don't know. I guess I should pay the $75 at some point, even though I feel like that's extortion. So, sorry about the bad internet. This will not be edited out of the podcast. So people who listen to the podcast get used to hitting fast forward, pass, like 10-second forward button or whatever it is. All right. So when I was looking up the thing, and I was thinking worth, but the robot brains out there that I was consulting with to make the show notes kept inferring value. Is that the right way to say it? And they kept switching it around to kind of a standard or a more normal, I guess, or a standard. Yep, there goes my internet again. A standard conversation about value rather than worth. I don't know if it's connected or not. My internet little button here is showing all over the stuff, and I keep showing my screen go disappearing. But so niche versus needs, if I can jump back to that and try to get my brain back into that mode. Again, I didn't put a bunch of notes here because they didn't give me what I was looking for. But our niche would be guns, right? Okay, thanks for the feedback there, Krabby Turtle. Oh, there's a whole bunch of people out there now. There's Guns Barbecue. I think he's saying no audio, but that's from back and before, right? Now it's good again. All right, so again, thanks for the feedback on the technical side. My puppy co-host is pretty lazy. He doesn't even have thumbs. He doesn't even try. So niche would be our gun community, right? Even then, niche could be shotguns, right? Niche could be appendix carry. Niche could be off the body carry or something. So there's all these, cowboy action shooting or shooting steel challenge or something, right? Like there's all these different niches in our community, and our community's a niche. And even then, there's the people that are superficially own guns because they think of it as some kind of a totem or a talisman. Like I own a gun, so I'm safe, or I own a gun, so I'm powerful, or whatever. There's, people do that. Or just they don't understand it. I bought a set of skis, I bought a guitar, I bought a gun. They're just buying tools for their hobbies or something. And that's the thing, and there's those people aren't going to be interested in all this other stuff. So the niche part of it, you're seeking a different goal, a different target. Needs are when we're talking the right side of it. And when we're talking the needs, it's not like we have one need. Of course, we have tons, and everybody's got their own perspective on that. And that's sort of where I started getting into this, because I'm coming at today's topic of how do we address the needs? How do we focus on the needs? How do we understand the value of that aspect of it? And the robots kept coming up with, how do you target a niche? How do you what's one way to be successful on the internet in 2024? Find a niche and address it, which is fine. I got to do something before a TV falls over. Okay. I just got disconnected, but this is a giant TV hanging off the wall, not connected. But like, how do you if you're going to sell cheese, you got to go find cheese eaters. That's one thing. But if you want to make sure the right to own cheese exists, that you don't even have to find cheese eaters for that. There could be people that could care less about cheese, but understand the right to own cheese is important, necessary, vital. Man, this dog is just not working with the camera. Why before did it always used to work and now it doesn't work anymore? Maybe it's because the camera's all jammed up. All right, hopefully that didn't lose the connection. So that's again, if you're out there having conversations, if you're out there hosting conversations, niche versus needs, right? I don't know if there's a big angle there, but that's one of those frustrating facets. And we're looking at the poll, kind of flipping around here. That's where the poll comes from. If you think there's a difference between 2A and guns, then there's a difference. Then you can understand there's a small difference there between niche and needs. However, if you think guns and 2A are the same, you probably are going to just attack it all or address it all the same. Right now, we've got 100% of the votes still on we need more 2A focused content out there. But there is a poll going. The question is, are there enough Second Amendment content creators? Sort of a kind of a poll, but also a question on, do you think 2A and guns are the same thing? Because it's kind of the way the poll questions are, you're kind of answering that question as well. I'm going to move on from niche and needs. If this was like a roundtable discussion, I think this could have some meat. Maybe not. Maybe there's nothing there, but I think that's an interesting glitch, or an interesting, I don't know if they keep calling it a facet, but it's an interesting like angle on it that makes it difficult to get better at what we're doing, because most things are focused on that niche idea. Most things are focused on capitalizing on a niche, like exploiting a niche. And we're probably not trying to exploit our rights, right? We're not trying to use tactics that would be employed to sell a hot dog when we're trying to create understanding. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something there. So understand your expertise. So now that I've attempted in this show, and I probably haven't done it well because I don't script this or anything, and I don't have the robots write it for me. I just help them. I use them to help me come up with the outlines. But the concept here was that I started out with, how do we kind of address some foundational, fundamental things? And as I was dealing with these robots, they kind of made me think about this perspective of it, right? This angle on it. So what are we all out there doing, right? Are we out there as Borg? Are we a hive? Are we a bunch of bees with our jobs and everyone's expected to fulfill their role? Or are we a bunch of individuals, right? Are we a bunch of not just individual, but unique entities that all understand we have the opportunity to work together? We have the right to work together, but we're not obligated to work together. We're not required to work together, right? And in that environment, I think understanding your value is underrated. We get messages all the time, like, be consistent, be the same, buy this, same as everybody else. It's easy for us to make 1 million of them, buy one of the millions, you're cool. So the messaging, again, if that's how you practice your messaging, how does that work for, hey, you're individual, you're unique, and you have value? And it sounds all kind of weird, right? So this understanding your expertise, like, are we stronger with 100 plumbers? Sorry, Christmas 740. Or are we stronger with 100 carpenters? Are we stronger with 100 electricians? Are we stronger with 100, I don't know, concrete people? Or are we stronger with 25 of each? Now, divide that out. Are we stronger with, 70 of these, or are we stronger with 70 individuals? And when we're talking the internet, there's no barrier to entry. There's no requirement that you walk in lockstep with whatever other. Now, when you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to do what somebody else has already done, if you're trying to just take attention, then yeah, you're going to go look at where the most attention is, and you're going to do stuff auxiliary to that attention. Like, oh, right now people are looking at that spiral in the water. I'm going to make another spiral in the water. I'm going to make a bigger spiral. I'm going to add to that spiral. But over here, there's something else going on, a leaf floating in the water. Nobody's looking at that. So nobody's studying the leaf in the water. So I don't know, I'm using weird examples here, but this, if you want to do what's easy, then yeah, go look at what everybody else is successful at and go do something adjacent to it. And most of what we find as content creators is going to lead us towards that, which is frustrating because most of the time we're trying to open or discover or create awareness about something that isn't obvious or isn't the status quo or isn't the message that the mainstream is sending out there, right? So understanding what you can contribute is vital. Like, we have too few people who are contributing with too few skills. And I don't mean to be a dick, but you know what I'm saying? We have people that are willing to contribute. None of us are perfect. The people that contribute are doing what we can do, but we're not filling everything. So, I mean, we have a few critics out there. We have very few critics, at least in my experience out there. We have casual professional critics. People are just contrary assholes, but we have very few people that heckle or just annoy or even try to trip us up or whatever, in like a comic or something. It's like there's nothing there. So I don't think there's much barrier to this other than people needing a kick in the ass to realize we're better off with you on board. There's nothing really stopping you. There's no embarrassment. There's no cost. You can jump on other people's show. Think of all the people who jump on existing shows and add their insight and that perspective. We don't need necessarily just new shows, new content creators, new pictures, new cameras, new microphones, but people participating. How vital is that? How useful is that? Aldo is an example out there right now, giving us feedback. Thank you. And often interacts with the show. Of course, Voss interacts a lot of people's shows in a big way. Ozzy's out there. So I can keep coming up with examples, but when I'm out here talking to people, talking about understanding your value, understanding your worth, there's not one recipe for this. There's not one road, one path to follow. Let's get into, and again, hopefully these bullet points, these would be bullet points if they were over on the blog. I just can't do anything like that here on YouTube. But the next bullet point is creating consistent content. And content, if it's comments, content, if it's images, content, if it's, likes and thumbs. There's people out there that give us consistent likes and thumbs. And I can tell you, as a human being, that's why you do this. When those people quit doing the consistent likes and thumbs, you quit. When you see people stop doing this, it's not because the money flow stopped. There's no money flow. It's not because something else came up in life. The reason we're doing this is because we're willing to juggle other things in life. When people stop doing this, it's because people stop commenting and thumbing and doing that stuff. Yeah, the logarithms, it's necessary for the logarithms. And it's like anything. When you don't need it, you get a ton of them. When you need it, nobody does it. But those couple of people that contribute, that's what keeps people going. That's the human contact on the other side of the internet. There's nothing else. There's no numbers that are going to make you go, oh, I don't care that I got no human contact and I got enough numbers. I'm going to keep going. Unless you're a robot, unless you're only driven to exploit the situation, then of course those people could care less if they get interaction. They're not listening to this show though. Those people are just driven, right? They're exploiting us and they're not listening to this. But those people that are commenting, those people that are like, is it worth commenting again? I comment on every show. Is it worth saying hey? Sorry, I probably should have muted that. Yeah, vital. It's critically important. Now, if you're creating content, you're not out of the loop. And what the hell? You're the one who's creating the place for those people to put stuff on. So going back to understand your expertise, and we're going to start talking about knowing your perspective, understanding your worth, right? Maybe it's time to start putting some content out there. Maybe there's an undervalued element of our community, which there fucking is. Sorry, there definitely is. What if you're old and you're like, get fucking creating content? We have a massive underrepresentation of old people out here. And the young people think it's cool to bully old because nobody gives a shit. People don't care. It don't matter. I mean, they take me off air as soon as it gets good. We're about to have a massive generation of people. We don't have them bored. we shouldn't take things for granted. Get people to, sure. I can argue the two organizations create an AARP. Let me know when we're back. Dang. Bad internets. Dale is out there. Welcome. I think it's working. I can put Dale up there. Oh, and it all glitches on me. So creating consistent content. Again, if this is to all those people who are debating, should I? Yeah, you should. And then how? Just do it. Who cares how you do it? You're going to develop. When you started walking, do you still walk like that? I know we can remember when the baby walked. When you started running, when you started riding a bike, do you still walk like that? No. We develop when we get better, right? When you started driving, do you still drive like that? Come on. So don't think that you need to somehow be good to start. I mean, what the hell? What else do you do in front of people? I don't know. There's got to be other things that people do in front of people. Name any hobby. At some point, you decide to participate in that hobby. It's a little bit more important than a hobby. At least it can be. So creating consistent content is kind of going out there to everybody, no matter how it is or what it is that you're creating. And it's also the magic for anybody who's starting. You want to get better, do it. You want to see results, do it. You know, if you're exercising, you're dieting, if you're, I don't know, painting a wall, if you're starting a journey, what does it start with? The steps. So consistent content, get out there, do it for the sake of doing it, to create something for people to find, and then allow it to happen. And the way you do that is you consistently do it. Look at all the heroes we have in our community, people who just do it. I think it's easy. Think I felt like doing this. I didn't have this. I could be doing stuff that makes way more money right now. I do appreciate the patrons that give me the time to do this. They're essentially paying me to do this, which is my motivation to do this. Otherwise, I could be making way more money right now. I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying, like, this is, it's not like it's a passion. It's an interest, and it's, I think, useful. But it's by no means easy or profitable. So, if those are your drives, you're not listening to this. But understand that, like anything, the payoff is in the process, and the payoff is in your abilities to get better. And then as your abilities get better and your understanding gets better, you become more effective. And the payoff is when you start to see less incremental success and more strategic success. And I'd like the people who are at that level. We definitely have people at that level. People are at that level, and we don't get into all that, but getting into consistent creation, it'll help your skills, and it'll create stuff. And hopefully, again, there are people that are feel they can rep something that's underrepresented, part of that content or origin of that content. That's also a big payoff when you can start something. I don't know, I can think of like that one revolver, the Medusa revolver. People knew about it. It wasn't like it was a secret, but whenever I got my hands on one, and whatever that was years ago, and was able to make a video, put it on YouTube, I wasn't the first person to put a video of it. I was just, I was probably the biggest person, but I was the person who kind of just showed it to everybody and created a thing, and that was neat. And it still exists, which I guess technically is even cooler. But when it happened, and when stuff goes viral and it happens and it's a neat, that's all a value. That's you can there's a lot of fun there. And the only way you do that is to get out there and do it. So it doesn't have to necessarily go viral. It just can be the seed, I guess, that starts a discussion that continues on, is persistent, I guess. And that can have a value, but that you can get a lot of, I can't think of the word from that though. Okay. Next, utilizing different platforms. So, I'm doing this on YouTube. We take the audio and we put it out on all the different audio platforms. I'll take a second here to plug that. So we've been moving everything to the Podbean. But, in addition, I post the heads up about this show over on some of the, I don't know what to call those platforms, like the social platforms, I guess, truly social platforms like Minds and Locals, the places where people go to have conversations and to watch other people's feeds that are kind of more multimedia than just a Facebook or just a YouTube or just an Instagram, which are kind of single focused. I guess Facebook's a little bit more multi also. But anyhow, posting stuff around is utilizing the different platforms, utilizing the strengths or the weaknesses of the different platforms appropriately. That's another way to be motivated, I guess, or to like find interest in this when it can be repetitive or laborious. And there's going to be times when you're not getting instant feedback. You're not getting instant success. It's not going, I don't know, fast enough or in an interesting enough path for you. And that's where at times, not always, and it's certainly not the only recipe for this, and it's certainly not 100% for success rate, but at times taking your whatever, your interest or your new path or something into another platform can be useful. Let's see. So otherwise, the different platforms also have different audiences. And, when we talk about something like a podcast versus a Instagram, totally different, long form audio versus either tiny short videos or pictures, single pictures usually, just totally different person picking up the device and interacting, and understanding that can be fun too. So let's say you've got an objective to to remove the NFA, to normalize guns, to create awareness, to remove gun-free zones. Shout out to Unapologetically Armed. Right, you have some goal. Taking that and figuring out strategies and tactics that work on the various platforms can again be motivational, because it gives you success and growth and at least fights in different realms than sort of the constant smashing of the hammer on the big boulder or something. Every once in a while do something different or incorporate it into your plan from the beginning. And that's where those other platforms can be utilized and useful. New York Outcast is out there. Welcome. It's rainy and pretty wet. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they've been telling us here in Arizona it is not the rainiest year, but it seems rainy. So maybe the last couple of years have been dry, but we've been getting a little bit of water every day instead of just a lot of water once or twice. And that just kills my roof. So it's horrible here right now for drips, and my roof can handle the water pouring off of it. But when it gets waterlogged, it just drips all over the place. And that's what I'm dealing with now, is just drips everywhere. So I can understand people when they say they don't like the rain. Like, I don't have the problem with the rain until it's like is horrible to me. But when it just rains quickly and goes off, like, rushes, kind of rolls off the roof and moves on, I don't mind the rain. It's when it kind of moves in like this that it's really getting depressing, mainly because I'm having to fight leaks more than anything else, and thinking about how much it's going to cost to fix that the right way, right? All right. So anyway, hopefully you're dealing with less kind of rain issues than that, but now you got some insight into my rain issues right now. Normally I don't have to talk about this because I live in a desert and this doesn't happen all the time. Let's see. So next we're talking about network and collaborate. I mean, I'm definitely preaching to the choir with most of the people that listen to this. But if you're listening as a podcast or you're overhearing this, you're certainly not alone. I don't know what it is you do out there. Even 9mm people have other 9mm people that they can talk to. Like there's other people besides you out there in whatever it is you're interested in. But you're also allowed to collaborate with adjacent folks, people that are similar. Hunting people are allowed to collaborate with, I don't know, long distance shooters or something, or long distance shooters are allowed to talk to, I don't know, people that do other kind of competition sports or something. So there's other kind of collaborations and networking that can be done. And again, if we're talking about staying motivated, being just getting started, deciding what you might add to the mix or why you might start, or just realizing the full value of what you're putting out there. I have to say that but to, your the networking preach, like I'm talking to people that for this experience, everybody. I mean, there's an ammo owners are seriously. I mean, guns somehow gonna go. That's like eights or something. FFL idea where you did a thing that are like, oh, just what board is or whatever it is, your collection, and cool. So I don't think you can eat without understanding the people. You could be a good understand. There's so many to collect and network out here. Thanks for the feedback. I don't think it's something eating my bandwidth. Well, there could be kids playing the video games. I could blame it on the kids playing the video games. I think I got it back. I was talking to the cable company, and my wire between my house and my cable pole or whatever is 23 years old. How can that wire be any good? I need a new wire, but they want $75 to come out and look at the wire. I'm super cheap. So I don't know. They won't let me run my own wire. Plus, I can't imagine my cheap wire would be any better, but I think it's the wire, but because it's raining. But sorry for the whatever. I'm blaming the puppy also. Look, he's just sitting here. He doesn't even care. He has pliers at his disposal. There's pliers all over the place. He's got this little pokey thing. He could be out there checking things. He's not doing anything. There's a spoon right here. Look. Oh, he's willing to sniff the spoon. No, it had grapefruit on it. He's not really that interested in it. Anyway, so collaboration, networking. Again, if you're one of the people that create content, use any of these bullet points and have a conversation about this. I shouldn't say, if you're one of the people that host conversations, take any of these bullet points and run with them. All right, so I think I've elaborated on it, or I've mentioned it a few times now, but when I started asking the computer brains about this, they went at it as if, hey, how much is your content going to be worth? What should you charge for an ad on your video or something? And that's, again, I understand that. In fact, it's something that I've asked it before. So I understand that my robots are telling me that because it's not outside of the realm of stuff I would be talking about. But what I was asking it for, what I'm thinking about today when we're talking about getting started, doing stuff, staying motivated while you do stuff, and then understanding your position in the world, understanding how you interact with the others and the value that brings. I was thinking more of like the worth. And again, getting back to those people that comment, the people that create stuff for people to comment on. I mean, again, I'm speaking to a lot of people who understand this, but I don't remember giving a shit about TV. I can remember that I did that back in the olden days, like in the 19th century. What we would do is, even if you had the cable TV, you would go home for stuff, like, I don't know, or maybe you'd go somewhere like a bar or someplace to gather, or maybe you had like a bowling league on some night, and then somebody brought like a Watchman little tiny TV, but you would have to go to wherever the programming was, and you'd have to sit there and watch the programming. Now, people that were super space age would get a VCR, a video cassette recorder, and they would record their shows with a robot. But the rest of us, we would have to stop everything or schedule our stuff and like go hang out and watch a stupid show or whatever. That doesn't exist, at least for me. I don't watch anything like that. And I could care less about sports. So there's like, I can't, except for political shit that we have to deal with as a civic responsibility to some extent, or civic interest at least. And that happens on a schedule. Like, there's very few things that I'm going to watch on a schedule other than content that people create online. And then we all know that there are people who, like Gizzard has a show every Friday evening, or like who else is out here that has a show going? Is there nobody else out here right now that has a show going? Foss, who has a Wednesday night mouse party every Wednesday night, and occasionally the overnight show on every other weekend. Those are the things that I put onto my schedule now. And when those don't happen, that's what I was getting at. When those scheduled shows that I'm familiar with don't happen, I'm like, dang it, now what am I going to do? That never happened in the programming days because they were there to program us. They had millions and millions of dollars, and they were going to make sure no matter what, every Thursday night, every Friday morning, every Saturday afternoon, you were going to get programmed. So we never had to worry about that back in the day. We got our programming, period. And then we would sometimes get a rerun of the programming if we needed to have it reiterated. You need to buy this, you need to think this. But nowadays, it's regular people doing stuff. So what's your worth? What's your value? What do you contribute when you're creating an opportunity for people to come together and have real conversations from all over the world? When you create content that lets people watch from all over the world and participate on a platform, right? A large platform, or again, let's not ignore those small platforms where you allow people who don't like the big platforms to gather, or the topics that they won't let you talk about on the big platforms, or the big platforms that are banned in some countries. So you go to the little platform so you can actually talk across the wall instead of through the wall. So that understanding your worth part, hopefully, is something that sheds a little light on the initial start. Like, why would you start all this? Now, if you're looking for the money, yeah, there's money out there. You typically got to do something or whatever. It's going to be a little different. Like, you're going to have a recipe. You're going to have to fight with other people who want money. But if you want to get a position across, you want to get some awareness out there, you want to petition for a segment that's not included, fuck yeah, do it. Like, that's what we are better off with. So that value is there, but that worth, how do you just, it's undescribable. I could sit here for an hour and a half going into people that were areas that we're missing. But we're better off since 2015 with all those new voices, those new angles that have come in and added to the mix, right? All right, so then we get into some of those were the what do you call it, bullet points, but because of the tech issues and my lazy co-host, it took almost an hour, almost the whole entire hour so far to talk about. He'll get a whooping. Don't worry about it. He'll get a whooping. We got the bad dog detector, as we know. I'm going to set it back to 0, which is 100% good dog. Oh, no, it went up to 4, number 4 on the bad dog scale. So you'll definitely get a whooping after the show. But let's go see if Cape Gunworks is live. All my stuff shot down, so I have to go find it again. Oh, I probably shouldn't do it that way. How about right click, open in a new tab, then it doesn't kill my window. And then go to live. Do they have anything posted yet? Oh, they do. Look at that. 13 minutes. We got about 13 minutes and then the show will be over. So I try to do this as a warm up for the Cape Gunworks segment of the Grace Curley show called 2A Tuesday. And Toby usually turns on the camera and streams kind of before, during, and then a little bit after that segment of the show, which is interesting. It's a Grace Curley show is a radio show in Boston, Massachusetts. We all know that Boston, first they make donuts with weird shit in there, but then they also have bad gun laws. So this is a radio show, and often people call up and just ask how to navigate their crazy gun laws, but because they're under attack right now, again, the calls typically are questioning what to do and how to deal with it, in addition to technical questions, since Toby co-owns a gun shop, a pretty big gun shop in the Cape of Massachusetts, I guess. Then he's able to answer technical questions as well. So I think that lasts about 45 minutes. That'll start here in a few, and we'll end this show before that. I just put links in there. Oh, you know what else I should do is grab the link to this. And here's what you can do. You want to know your value and your worth? Here's the mechanism we have in YouTube. Since I'm sharing the screen, we got Toby's show. We grab the URL. We go back to this show. We go get rid of this menu. We go up and click on edit video. When that brings up be careful. We're going inside the video. So we just turn the video inside out and you're all watching it happen. It's kind of weird, but it's happening. I'm going to go in here and really click like, since I'm in here, I don't want to have to do this again. I'm going to add this to the couple of playlists real quick, like act like that didn't happen because that's not what we're here for. But we're going to click on the customization tab. And then we're going to go to this redirect down here at the bottom. You might have to scroll down depending on how big your monitor is. And then put in Toby's link there. And now, once we, don't we have to save this? No, we had to save this. Oh yeah, the save is way over here. Once we save that, then once this show is over, it'll redirect over into that show. How cool is that? That's a mechanism that YouTube's given us for about a year now, I think. All right, and now we'll jump back out and just look at the video like we were doing it before. That's a mechanism that YouTube's given us. All right, so getting down into these points, we'll see if we can whip through them in 13 minutes. Staying motivated. Remember why you started what you did, what your passion was, and every once in a while look back. Every once in a while take a time to appreciate what you've added to the mix. Make a best of, make a what we did this month, what we did this year. When I say we, right, whatever, how many people are involved in your project, but then also include all the collaborations and stuff. So don't forget the stuff that you've done. Next one is stay informed and adapt. I guess we do need every once in a while somebody to just stay rigid, and some people like being rigid, so there's no need for them to change. But everybody else who can handle change. Don't sit around. Again, like name one thing that you still do from when you were a little kid that's the same, right? Except for like eating pudding or something, or some like tradition of eating cake some way. It's probably not too much that you continue to do because you have more insight, right? You've understood there's better ways to do things. You've had what I'm about to say, more realistic goals, right? So adapt. Don't be afraid to adapt. We don't want to change our fundamentals and our cores, but it's super easy to be adaptable with still being true, right? So not everyone has to adapt. Allow people to adapt, and then give people feedback, because sometimes people are reacting instead of adapting. And anyway, setting goals and tracking progress. Be realistic. You don't get to where you're going in one step. Nobody takes one giant leap over a staircase, right? You might be able to jump 2 steps every once in a while. Once you get stronger, you can definitely jump 3 steps once in a while. But don't be unrealistic, and understand that. And it says celebrate your achievements. That's up to everybody. You don't want to be so stoic that you never appreciate what the hell's going on. But if you sit around celebrating every time you make a step, you'll eat a cupcake every time you take another step, you're actually going to get fatter going up the stairs than you get in shape, right? So within reason there. I think somebody would like a biscuit every time he goes up some steps, though. Take breaks, avoid burnout. Probably worthwhile incorporating those into your schedule instead of having to sick days, right? Instead of having to work until you have to, or it becomes inevitable, or something breaks. Again, being realistic about those steps. Understand that muscle takes time to create. So incorporate those right away. And then you're allowed to, again, these could be conversations for another, this could be topics for another conversation. I encourage people to do that. But we're talking about strategies to stay motivated and understand what your worth is, right? So engage with me. It's possible, I guess, for people. I haven't met too many people that just like to blow cards, that just like to say. I don't know too many people like that have anything worth saying, because the only way you can say stuff, unless you're some kind of robot, is to regurgitate what other people are saying. Especially people that never shut up saying stuff that other people said. So engaging and being a conversation leader as opposed to the conversation, what's that called, when you capitalize the conversation or whatever, when you take the whole conversation, whatever that's called. So engaging with the community, getting feedback, probably more to it. The robots and I had opinions on what some of measure impact, and that get back into the tech. And what's cool is back in the day, think of those whoever in the olden days wrote those first pamphlets that created the inspiration for individual liberty and the sparks of the revolution. That was pamphlets. That was tech, and that was people with an opinion, people who had enough of it and said, here, I'm going to write something down. And maybe it was witty, maybe it was satire, maybe it was a joke, maybe it was important, but they wrote it down, and they used the new printing presses of the days, just like, the cutting edge technology of the days, using things that were made for something else on the off hours, on their own time or something. These were things that were done and weren't necessarily created as much as like happened. So anyway, how cool would it be? Those people would write these pamphlets and just hope that those pamphlets would get out. You fast forward to today, and if you start taking a real look at pamphleting, sending out information over pamphlets, you're going to get into all kinds of data about how many pamphlets you have to make and how many you expect to get read and how many of those that get read you expect to have acted on. Well, I guess somebody's starting this show. So rapid fire starting up here, corking me, whatever. Am I corking him or is he corking me? You be the decider. So engaging with your community is cool, but then measuring that impact, like I guess I was getting at, is there was no way to know back in the old days. And now we only know based off of advertising and marketing and maybe political canvassing or something. So we have these tools, but there's new ways to use those tools. And again, maybe your niche, maybe your expertise in this whole thing is how to use some of these tools more effectively for what we're trying to do. Again, getting into the valuing your worth, then getting into monetizing your content. I don't mean to undervalue the idea that what we create has value, because a lot of people dismiss that or act like this should all be done as a fucking charity or something. Like, I'm not trying to suggest that, and I'm not suggesting that everything we do needs to have a payoff and somebody's got to be paying for everything either. So definitely some ways to contribute to that, and at the same time, I guess I want to say thanks to our patrons, the people that understand that none of this just happens and that it does take time away from other things to work on these projects. And while I don't see heaps of profit coming in off of it or nothing, there is ways to not have it cost you so much that you're not able to continue doing it based on a financial reason, which almost happened to me for sure, more than once. Like, this is certainly not a new thing for me to get into the hole trying to do stuff. So anyway, let's go look at the poll real quick. So far, all the votes are no, we need more 2A focused content, which is not that unreasonable considering the audience of this show. And then one vote, it looks like, for maybe if you count gun stuff too. So at least we did have a little variation on the results, but I don't know if it was the best poll in the world. This is not the best show in the world, but we do attempt to do something each week to keep moving the ball. It's not bucks at us. Thank you very much. I don't have anything to give the pup. You're literally out of biscuits, as he's been good money. He gets paid in biscuits, and he's been making good money. Honestly, so even though he's a bad dog, he has been doing good and getting paid, and I'm out of biscuit. But you see French screen or not, I don't know. There are some French fries in the refrigerator. I'm going to take those French fries and I'm going to stick them in a tortilla maker. So imagine a tortilla that's hot from, and then on there, you're going to put a whole bunch of these old French fries from Five Guys. And you wait for that super hot. And then, so there are all these French fries that are like this on the tortilla maker, getting kind of warm. And then you lay the tortilla maker down. Now they start getting real warm. Then you take a bunch of cheese and you put it on there. And then you squish the tortilla maker again, right? And then that cheese gets all melted into them old fries, and them old fries kind of come back to life and get all greasy from the cheese. I'll give him a little bit of that. So he'll get a little bit of them greasy cheese fries in a little bit here, based on that super chat. So thank you for that. Hopefully you will enjoy some cheesy French fries as well, because everybody should enjoy cheesy French fries. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, you're welcome. And go check out Keep Gunworks 2A Tuesday. Oh, let me throw a commercial up here for the store. We've only had two orders from the store this whole year. So thank you for the person who ordered from the store on Friday. As soon as this show ends, your order will be going out with this many free patches. I'm going to put a stack of free patches in there as fat as this dog's face. So that's how many free patches the second order from our store this year will get. But yeah, we'll go on with this. And so thanks for watching.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Oh my goodness, you got to make that noise at the end of the show. People are trying to eat cheese fries and you're over here. Oh my goodness.